This episode from Driving with Gloves is about an Italian beauty named after a village in a small principality in southern Europe.
Hi, my name is Cor and welcome to my channel, Driving with Gloves. I always drive with car gloves. Your question might be, why do I drive with gloves? And my answer is, why not?
Monaco is the second smallest country in the world after the Vatican. Yes, that's me driving through the Vatican a few years ago. In 1215, Monaco was founded as a colony from Genoa. Since 1419, the Grimaldi family became the official and undisputed rulers of the Rock of Monaco. Monaco is well known with the rich and beautiful, and is also well known for its Grand Prix. The Principality of Monaco was subdivided into 3 municipalities. The most famous one is Monte Carlo.
And why do I tell you this story about Monaco and Monte Carlo? Because the mid-engine sports car behind me is not a Ferrari, but a Lancia Montecarlo. And thanks to Auto Vogel in Switzerland, I'm in luck today to drive this car. So let's put on my gloves and drive. Lancia was well known in the 1970s for its extraordinary good rally cars. In 1974, 75 and 76, they won with the Lancia Stratos the World Rally Championship. So Lancia had a very successful mid-engine sports car in its range when they launched the Beta Monte Carlo. So why did they do that?
In fact, that's a very good question, and I will try to answer that. Since 1969, Lancia belonged to Fiat. Fiat sold Pininfarina to develop a successor for the Fiat 124 Coupe, so that was what Pininfarina did.
In 1971 the car was ready, but the oil crisis was there. So at short notice they decided to replace the 3-liter 6-cylinder engine by a 2-liter engine. Yes, they started downsizing already around 50 years ago.
The car was now called Fiat X120, relating to the mid-engine Fiat X19, but it was not a street car, but a racing car. It was presented to the public in 1974 as Fiat Abarth SE30, but they were racing only for 1 season with that car.
So you might think that the X120 would have been presented to the public as a Fiat road car after that racing season of 1974. No, you are wrong. But Giovanni Agnelli, the Fiat boss, decided that the car should be launched as a road car on the Geneva Motor Show of 1975, but not as a Fiat, but as a Lancia.
The strange thing was that they launched it under the name Lancia Beta Montecarlo, but it had absolutely nothing in common with the Beta range from Lancia. The other Beta models had an engine in the front and they were front-wheel drive. Not so the Lancia Beta Montecarlo. It had the engine in the middle and was rear-wheel drive.
This Lancia Montecarlo is quite special. Look how you open the bonnet.
The engine in the Monte Carlo is a Lampredi engine with double overhead camshafts and a power output of 120 PS, but not in the USA, because in America it was sold under the name Lancia Scorpion, with a power output from only 88 PS, so you can imagine that it was no big hit in America.
In 1978 they stopped the production of the Lancia Montecarlo, but this one is from 1982, so how can that be? Because the Fiat concern needed a rally car which derived from a production car, so they started the production of the Monte Carlo again in 1980. Very smart, isn't it? However, there was a slightest name change. They left out the name Beta in the S2 version, so it was now officially named Lancia Montecarlo.
The S2, however, had slightly bigger wheels and a window in the C-pillar for better visibility. These C-pillar windows were already introduced on the S1 for the UK market because of the British legislation. Yes, it's a fine looking car, which you could still use as a daily driver. It has a top speed of 193 km an hour, and the acceleration from 0 to 100 km an hour takes 9.1 seconds. It weighs only 1040 kilograms, so compared to modern cars it is very light, and therefore it feels very nimble.
It is always a joy to drive a mid-engine sports car. It has independent suspension all round. The same goes for the disc brakes, so the handling is absolutely perfect. It is extremely short, only 3.81 meters. But is there anything I do not like about this car? Actually yes, I do not like the plastic dashboard at all.
But that's typical for that period, because I do not like the fashion from the 1970s and early 1980s either.
If you think that a mid-engine sports car can't be practical, you are completely wrong. Look at this. This is quite a big suitcase, and it would fit 2 of these suitcases in this car.
So the Lancia Montecarlo is a mid-engine sports car, which drives like a go-kart. But unlike a go-kart, you can even travel with up to 2 people and enough luggage. It is extremely cheap to buy and to run if you compare it with other Italian mid-engine sports cars. Okay, it is only a 4-cylinder engine and not an Italian 8 or 12-cylinder engine, so it is missing the engine sound, but therefore the car makes enough other sound you can enjoy while driving. And do not forget, even the famous Beatle Herbie fell in love with the Lancia Montecarlo.
I want to thank Auto Vogel in Switzerland for lending me this Lancia Montecarlo from 1982. Please like this video and please subscribe to my YouTube channel Driving with Gloves. Thank you. See you soon in a new episode from Driving with Gloves.